All right, let's go back and take another look at our discussion. We chose to understand that enabling the waiting room means I'm creating a waiting room, and this is very important. Now about the hide profile picture option. Where do you see my picture? This is my picture, and if you don't want my picture to show up for the students, you can click on hide and it will disappear. Some teachers don't want their picture to be visible to the students, so from the security settings, they can check this option if they want it to show, or uncheck it if they don't. All right, now how do you set this picture in your profile? I'll teach you how to put it in your profile now. After that, we will move on to the chat option, which is very important. For the students, you click on the hide option and your name will disappear. Some teachers don't want their picture to show up for the students, so from the security settings, they can check this option if they want it to be visible, or uncheck it if they don't. Now, how do you set this picture in your profile? I'll teach you how to put it in your profile now. After that, we'll move on to the chat option, which is very important. You see, this chat here is crucial. This is very important. Here, we have the chat. This part is called the chat, and this part is for the students, the people participating with me. So if you click on the chat like this, it will disappear. If you click on the chat like this, it will appear. This is the chat, and these are the messages between teacher and the students, or between me and the teacher who joined me at the moment. Okay, can I control this chat? Oh, sometimes pay attention to something very important. Sometimes, doctor, does the profile picture disappear only for the host or for the students? No, it disappears for everyone. Our profile disappears. No, I will show you everything. I'm talking about our profile. Now, we will talk about the students and everything. Don't worry, I won't leave anything out until everything is clear. All right. Now, let's start with the chat first because it has its secrets and we need to know them. Sometimes some students chat with each other while I'm explaining, and honestly, that bothers me during the lesson. We come to the first chat because he has important secrets, and we must really know them. Sometimes there are indeed some students who actually chat with each other while I'm explaining, and honestly, that very much bothers me during the lesson. The students sit there talking to each other, asking me things like, when is Dr. Hamdi's exam? Or when is Dr. Allah's exam? Or is the lecture from the doctor available or not? Come on, I'm here trying to explain things to you. And there's noise coming from you while you're talking to each other on the side. No, if you want to close the chat so that the students are not busy and can focus, you go to security like this and choose and tick the check mark like this. When I see that option checked, I can certainly tell Dr. Allah, Dr. Aya, Dr. Maha, Dr. Zulf, and the other doctors with me, such as Dr. Smith, to write in the chat. Write in the Zoom chat, not the Blackboard chat, please. Do you know how to write in the AIM chat? No? All right then. We didn't know how to address him. Why? As Dr. Zulfa said, oh, because the teacher came here in the security settings and disabled the chat. It wasn't available for the students. Now, it's available again. This way, I check the box so Dr. Zulfa can write it or any of the colleagues can write it. Let's look at the writing. For example, it says, peace be upon you. Yes, indeed. Hello, excellent. Dr. Mahd, peace be upon you. Dr. Zulfa. All right, excellent. Dr. Allah. Right. So I think the chat is now available. So you're controlling it like that, and that's really great. Zoom gives you all the details. The details of the details. Okay. After the chat, there's something called rename Zimself. And keep that in mind. Renaming Zimself allows you to change your name. For instance, if you entered as Dr. So or Zulf or Dr. Allah Fath, you can change it anytime if the option is checked. Next to your name, click the 3 dots and select rename to change your name. As long as the option is checked, you can change your name. Next to your name, there will be 3 dots. Click on them and you can change your name through rename. I can also change my name. Next to your name, there will be 3 dots like this. Click on them and you can change your name through rename. I can change my name. So for example, here in front of me is Dr. Zulfa, and I choose the word rename and start saying, for example, Zulfa or Zulfa Ahmed, for instance. Okay, and click change. The name will change here and you will be able to change it, and I can change it too. Well, if you have some students, honestly, they can be a bit of a hassle. What name does the student enter? What do you say to the student at the beginning of the course? Please write your full name. Okay? So if he enters just once, write your full name so it won't be a hassle anymore. And then, after you make sure that all their names are correct, you lock them in as renamed. Remove. Word renamed. All right, like currently no student can change their name. I can't change it. As for him, he can't change his name. He can't change his name. Enough. The name he entered will remain fixed forever. And keep in mind that this is very important. The name can no longer be requested for a change. It will stay as it is with me. All right? So the words security and rename are very important. The name can no longer be requested for a change. It will remain fixed with me. All right? So the words security and rename are important. Okay, there's something very important as well. We also say it together and focus on it together. The time when I will ask Dr. Ala Fathi to speak via Zoom at the scheduled time. And also Dr. Zulfa or Dr. Moaz, any colleagues can talk to each other. Come on, everyone. Let's have two people talk together. Zoom, peace be upon you. Yes, okay, Dr. Allah. For example, I say peace be upon you. Anyone can talk to me. Come on, someone talk to me. Anyone talk to me as well. May God grant you health and wellness, Dr. Allah. Anyone talk to me. Come on. May God grant you health and wellness. Anyone talk to me, Dr. Allah. Yes, doctor, I'm with you. Just imagine if there's a lecture. Yeah, if there are several people talking like that, I would go mute first. And then I would go ahead and do what you say. Welcome. Okay, I went on mute first and I closed it. Can you talk now? Yes, you can talk. Talk again. I have muted you. And a message like that has come to you. You will be able to speak like, may God enlighten you. I will mute the ones who are present first, and then I will mute you all. Of course, we will play like this. People are talking, and I will mute. I will mute you. And I saw this with my own eyes during the Corona days. He was teacher teaching Labani in elementary school. And all the students, everyone talks again. The class was a mess. I would mute them here. This button temporarily mutes everyone, but they can talk again. I don't want anyone to talk. I want to completely mute the sound. Unmute themselves. Dr. Allah or Dr. Zulfa can't talk. It won't work now. No one can talk. None of the people present will be able to speak now. Some think mute all means off. It's temporary, not permanent. If I feel that I want complete silence, so I've muted everyone. Dr. Allah, you can speak now, but Dr. Zulfa might not know how. I've muted them all, and now I'm relieved from the chaos of everyone talking. It's not working anymore. No one can speak now, because I've muted them. Some think mute all means it's off completely, but it's temporary. If there's a lack of discipline, I mute everyone. Dr. Ala Fathi will join us in the Zoom session, but I must admit him first. I can see if anyone is late or leaves and returns, as all movements are noticeable during the session. Everyone is talking over each other, causing chaos. No one can speak now because I've muted them. Mute all is temporary. If discipline lacks, I mute everyone. Dr. Allah Fathi will join us on Zoom. He won't enter immediately. I must admit him first. Dr. Allah was in the waiting room. I notice any late arrivals or returns. I manage the session fully. Currently, no one can talk. Not Dr. Allah, not Dr. Zulfa, because I've muted everyone. Now, I'm going to the security settings to unmute. There's a lack of discipline in the lecture, and people want to talk, so it becomes a problem. I mute everyone. Then Dr. Ala Fathi starts on Zoom. He won't just enter right away. I have to admit him first. Dr. Ala Fathi is joining us. He was in the waiting room. Any movement is noticeable during the session. People come in and out, and I manage the session completely. Right now, no one can talk. Not Dr. Allah, not Dr. Zulfa. Why? Because I've muted everyone. I've muted everyone. Now, I'm coming to the security settings and will turn the sound back on for everyone. Can anyone talk now, everyone? Yes, people can talk now. People came in and out, and I managed the session completely. So right now, no one can talk. Not Dr. Allah, not Dr. Zulfa. Why? Because I've muted everyone. I've muted everyone. So now I'm going to the security settings and will turn the sound back on for everyone. Is anyone talking, guys? People can talk now. Why? Because it puts a check mark on the speech. Peace be upon you. Peace be upon you. All right, Dr. Zulfa, that's good. They can talk again. So mute all is just a temporary mute. And through this insecurity, I can mute everyone. This is very, very, very important. Here, if you want to set a video, you can start with a video or put a note screen for people to share their notes through here. All right, if you want to set a timer for the session, you can adjust some settings. There are, of course, a lot of settings. For example, if you want to request the host to start cloud recording as soon as you enter, it will save it to the cloud. These are all important settings. Within the security,